work to do. Keep us in line. That's right. I don't know.
Okay, right at 6:30 on April 27th, I'd like to call this session of the City of Greensburg TIF Commission to order. Could we start out with a pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Diana, would you be good enough to roll call?
Ken Dornan. Doug Fry.
Here.
John Schmallenberg. Here. Gerald Poling.
Here.
Cole Rathlick.
Here.
Dave Weigel.
Here.
Did everybody get a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting? And if so, there are no changes to them. I'd ask for a motion to accept them as they are.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
The roll call, Diana?
Ken Dornan.
Yes.
Doug Fry.
Yes.
John Schmallenberg.
Yes.
Gerald Poling.
Yes.
Cole Rathlick.
Yes.
We have our city engineer here with us tonight. If you could give us an update, Gary, appreciate it.
Give you an update. It's been raining and they haven't done it.
Thanks for coming.
Just kidding. They were hoping to this week switch traffic over to the other side. But with the rain, they haven't been able to get enough concrete work on the driveways and sidewalks done that they need to stage. So, like I said, they were hoping to do that this week. It's probably pushed back to next week, which will still get us close to the first, which they promised they would shift traffic over, open up all of Lincoln Street. But we will be closing First Street access to Lincoln Street here once they open that up. So there will be a sign at Broadway that says we're going to close 1,000 feet, and Franklin will have 500, and then we'll kind of do the offset barricades for a soft closure so you can get to the driveway to the health department, and then we'll be closed from there to the intersection. So
And how long do you expect that to be held for?
they didn't tell us on schedule. So they're hoping to get that done and open back up as soon as possible, because then they're going to switch. They're going to wait again until June 1st to work on that section, to tear out the section between First and Montgomery, because they want the school buses to be okay to use that. And then after June 1st, then we'll close that down and work on that. And then again, we're still, I don't know if I've reported since then, we're shooting for July 1st to have everything finished curb to curb for the whole length of the entire project by July 1st. We'll have traffic shifted, and you'll only be using the west 2 lanes because it'll take July to do all the concrete work. Okay? So you'll need to be parking concrete trucks on the road to do sidewalks and driveways on the east side.
That's good news, eh?
With all the rain, what's it looking like for the flooding issues that we had in the past?
They seems, I was just talking to Ken, with all the rain, it seems to the peak scenario that we talked about seems to be working, and we're getting, with the storm sewers on Lincoln Street, we're getting it to the creek quicker before we get the peak from all the ground north of 74. So getting it in quicker and downstream through that railroad culvert has helped in this situation with all this rain.
Good deal. What's that test?
So, and we've still got a $2 million grant to do more improvements on,
Right.
on Gas Creek. So
Is the storm sewer completely in front of lakes and everything?
and there's some that goes down Montgomery also. So, yeah, they've stubbed across because there's an inlet right there by Pikes. If you went by today, he had a lake for parking lot. But we do have an inlet right there, and we stub out 10 feet for him to be able to connect his storm sewer into that. So that should resolve that problem that he's having, and he's aware of that.
I spoke to the manager, the owner of Peace King the other day, and I asked her how Lincoln was affecting her business, and she said it's affecting their lunch business. It's not affecting their dinner business. But she was very good about it. She understands that it's necessary to get it done, and we're so much better off when it is done.
I talked to Mr. Barnes also. I try to get there once a week, just so I can help him out. I do what I can, and a lot of times the other guys eat there.
Oh, it's just good food.
Yeah. Yeah, he's being a martyr for it. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm just trying to pack on more.
There was a good article in the paper too, about a week or so ago, to the same that you're speaking to.
And they understand that it's a necessary evil, but they see what the north end looks like, and they can envision seeing it get there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a painful couple of months to get that thing.
Yeah, I think we're all ready for it to be finished.
We're ready for it to stop raining.
So they can't finish.
Also had some comments about the cost of the sign at the end of Lincoln Street. And that they thought that we had spent, and this came from two different people, we had spent too much money on that. And I explained that that was part of the enhancement grant that we got from NDOT that also tied into the sidewalks and the landscaping, et cetera, et cetera. And although that looks super, we really don't have a lot of money invested in it.
Not compared to the total value of the project now.
We had it was,
I mean, if that was actual limestone, cut limestone, and not a cast concrete product, for all the caps and stuff, it would be a lot more expensive. That's very good.
Well, and in addition to that, Ken, we were given a list of what we could choose from, and we were very, very careful in looking at that list and choosing what enhancements. We got input from Mark, street commissioner. We didn't go with the brick crosswalks with the colored pavement. We're just
we had some local meetings to address that. We had people in it.
Exactly.
The lady asked me about that too, and I went clear through my notes, and I don't see where we specifically put a price on that thing, was it? I know our portion of it was 20%, but I could not find a cost of that
So
sign.
I'm not doing that. But we had, I'll have to go back and dig that out.
I couldn't
I
find
mean, there's one in the bid form that O'Mara submitted. Everybody's, I mean, that was a line item in the bid.
Basically, the engineering and planning is all we have in it, really. The rest of it
20% of the total
covered by
cost of the
grant.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
paid for and the rest of it was covered by the grant.
Now, all enhancements only cost the city $200,000, correct?
Yes.
That was the number.
Right. Because there was $1 million grant.
At one point, it wasn't even 200,000. It was 800,000 total for enhancements and 20% of that.
Okay.
So less than 200,000.
I don't have it with me here.
$253,000 that we had in engineering design.
253.
Yeah. So that we were told that we could not use that money at one time towards our 20% on the enhancements. So that was when we scrapped, if you all remember. And eventually, several months later, they come back and said, okay, the federal government will now let you use that $253,000 towards your matching. So at that point, we would have been quite wasteful if we hadn't made use of that money. It's already bought the paper.
253 covered the planning and the engineering for that.
You also get off that, unless anybody wants to talk about Lincoln itself, sent us some information on the extension to the
Yes.
extent there. And I appreciate that, and I know everybody else does too. The map is very likely. The roundabout will be interesting for Greensburg.
It's a concept.
It's a concept, and as long as we get the space, I think it's something we need to consider.
I couldn't open your email. And I've got Windows 7. I still couldn't open it.
I've got Windows 7 too.
What version of Adobe are you using, or what version of it's Adobe? Because
Everything runs through Adobe, so yeah, you may have to just download it.
You might have to update a newer Adobe Reader version and update what you have. It's got nothing to do with the operating system. It's got to do with the program.
I'm getting you everything.
I'm like you all. I don't think the computer's going to catch on. I think they're fad. But along with that, you did send us out the cost breakdown.
I did send out the cost breakdown, and I apologize. I did not elaborate that was for a 3-lane road section similar to what's out on Lincoln Street right now.
Which is what we had talked about.
Which is what we had talked about.
As opposed to the 4-lane that was originally proposed.
And that came in, HNTB's estimate was around $24 million. So if you take 3/4 of that, it's with the 15 point whatever I came up with, it's about in the ballpark.
You're about 15.6, 15.568.
And who knows when asphalt's going to do 2 years down the road because of the price of oil right now.
Right.
Whatever unit prices we're using to estimate are just a guess. That's why I put 15% contingencies instead of the normal 10 on most of those line items, just because we don't know.
Give us some
I
wiggle
mean,
room.
we had a good bid environment when we bid Lincoln Street, so we had a lot of unit prices for a historical comparison, but again, good environment if the economy recovers and oil stays where it is. You know, that could sway a little bit, but that's why I use a larger contingency than we normally use.
I jumped ahead on the agenda a little bit by bringing that up, and I apologize for that. While we're on the subject, what's everybody's opinion on whether we should proceed with this or at this point, or should we wait till Lincoln is done? This is what Gary brought to us last month, and that's the reason we had asked him to do this.
Completing an FA3 now, before you didn't really have to commit the local match. Now they're asking for that commitment when you do it. You've kind of got an idea of what this roadway might come in at. You submit that FA3 application to INDOT. They're probably going to ask us to break that into phases. Because we're not going to fund the project. It's $15 million.
So then our portion of it would be done in phases also, obviously.
Yeah, we would.
We could be in phases also.
Yes.
So even to do the whole project, our commitment would be, what we say, $3 million. That would be
Somewhere
the
around
max.
$3 million. And INDOT doesn't have that much money right now to do a large project like this. So this will probably be resubmitted for several years in a row before it becomes available for funding. But unless you get it in line and get it on their radar screen, they don't think we've got anything that we want to try to do.
But we don't have to have that money committed at this point when you do the application.
You have to commit your local match
When you do the
when
application.
you do the application.
So the money could sit there for 2 or 3 years.
No, you don't.
No, you
You
have
don't.
to
You don't.
deposit the money.
You just have to, don't have to deposit it.
Okay.
You just commit that we'll have the $3 million if this whole thing is funded at one time.
And if I may help you here, Gary, I had Umpqua do an assessment, it's probably been over a year and a half ago, so it's kind of out of date. We were looking, planning on this year and a half ago when we were working, starting on Lincoln Street. They give us an assessment based on what the current and projected revenue will be in the future, and to still maintain the reserve there. And they based on how much the project would cost and what you would bond it for if you needed to. Right now, I believe the TIF area is paying around $520,000 or $30,000 a year is what's paid. Now, the sooner you get that property developed, a road through there, the sooner the property will develop and will give you more tax revenue as well. So there's all kind of pluses to it. I think it's kind of a win-win situation we have to do.
In the meantime, though, can we use existing TIF money for something that's not in yet?
Yeah.
Out that way?
You can bond, yes. That is all one TIF area. It's all one TIF area.
It's an extension of the original TIF.
And there's some places now that you're collecting revenue on, but really don't think the TIF board is aware of until what they're so built.
Didn't we ask someone to look at that for us?
And it has been.
Mary's looked at a lot of that for us.
Yeah, and mostly Mary gave us the last sample of what it should be next year, or this year, if everyone pays up.
Right.
The
And
delinquent
no correction.
fees and everything else.
Right.
Thank you, Mary's quite helpful. But, we have to plan on this. If we hold back, other people are going to get lines in front of us. And we need to develop that area out there. It is a main artery. It's not like a small housing complex where the developers have always paid for the infrastructure, the roads and everything in the past, and then they give it to over to the city. This is a main artery that we're pretty well responsible for. It'd be nice if developers would work with us and, because if they built the road, it could be built for less money. And we may look at something else there if we possibly could have it built for less, but 20% is a hard thing to negotiate. You're not going to get much better deal. So, I do encourage the board to consider that because we need to be moving because before something happens, it may be 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road. We don't know. And, if they do ask us to permit, Bob can do this assessment, financial analysis, so what our anticipated revenue is in our reserves to show us what we could do if we do decide to go forward. We don't put our name in, we never get mine. They'll never know that we're interested in any sort of expansions and improvements.
Jerry, how closely are you following that Freeland Road corridor plan with HNTV done? Well, we spent $190,000 on that deal. And then once I see you guys, you drawn a new map or something, and I'm thinking,
Well, there was 6 or 4 or 5 alternatives.
Right.
And they had
Primarily where
preferred.
it entered the bypass, where
Some
basically
of it was a Freeland Road extension, but then you had stacking distances between the off ramp and Freeland Road to consider. There was a couple different jogs going through properties to the north, but we had a committee of the Planning Commission subcommittee, and we met, looked at the options, and we decided on that route. What's a little different is their route, the preferred route in the HNTB study, basically cut the land between 150 and the interstate in half. So it went right down the middle of those. I've shifted it more towards 150. Let 150 be a frontage road for those residents that are there, because you really don't want residential backing out on the 3-lane section. So and it's in concept, and what you see on that line is a 100-foot wide corridor going through there, and it's to scale. Again, we might not need, for a narrower road section, you don't need 100 feet. So that's a graphic representation. If it goes through a building, we'll try to do some minor curves and everything that not go through buildings and take out infrastructure that we don't need to. But
Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that one developer is willing to contribute to the right of way.
what you're proposing though is starting out on 421.
As a first phase, yes, 421 over to Moscow Road. If we were to break it into phases and then from Moscow.
Has somebody, what Campion was taken care of, or is he still in?
It has gone back to the bank.
Oh, yeah, Gary did say something.
So, and right now, it might be wise to strike while the iron's hot. They could see a bank could see the value added for us maybe purchasing that right away now, and they know that we're serious about putting a road through there. By having that right of way in place adds value to something that they have right now that they really probably didn't want back in the first place.
HNTV's proposal, I believe, came across through and then across by Shelley's. And if I recall right, it moved behind the lakes that were there, the ponds.
They had two proposals. One went behind and one went in front. Yeah.
The one going behind was going to be hard because of soil and they had some concerns about that property. The other one came straight across and it divided that property in half.
And Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, did we not talk about taking the Lincoln Street route, and then we also even talked about taking the Broadway route?
Yeah, coming into Broadway. Those were the two preferred options.
Yeah, I was thinking there was
There's really three that we talked about.
three. Yeah.
The other one was coming right in.
Yeah, they were all options, but,
Yeah.
but the preferred route in the study was the Lincoln Street.
Behind Tractor Supply.
Right.
I'm still kind of puzzled because I remember way back when we could not use this money for certain stuff, and we had to file a resolution or something to get Lincoln Street as part of that project because everybody was so upset we were spending that money on Lincoln Street, which they felt nothing to do with the Walmart area around, and we had to do something special so that we could spend that money. I don't remember what it was. And that's what's worrying me now is if we're going to spend Walmart's money on that area over there,
It's all in the TIF district.
but it wasn't.
But it is now. It's all.
So do we have to go back to the drawing board and write up a
A resolution. You
Yeah,
can-
or something
One
that-
of the things that we.
before we agree to
Yeah.
supply money to something?
We probably need to redefine the original one, yes. Or whatever.
Because there's several of them items that was on that original list we didn't take care of yet.
Right. And that original list was done like 20 years ago, but we refined
I
it.
got those resolutions right here.
I didn't bring mine, but I knew there was.
And you're right, there was questions as to how.
That was done in 2000.
Right. Right.
To establish a geographical area in the redevelopment district of the city of Greensburg as an economic development area to be known as the State Road 3 Border Development Area Economic Development.
That's just what worries me. I'd hate to be committing ourselves to something else that we are not allowed to do.
Understand.
It's a matter of establishing projects. I think isn't what you have to do that. You have to have. I'm not sure I understand the question. You have to develop projects. This is a project that we want to do. I think it takes a resolution to do that or something, doesn't it?
Can you show Bright that original? I don't have mine with me. Because that's what we had to do to get that Lincoln Street approved.
Sorry, it was before my time.
I know it was, that's why I'm bringing it up. It wasn't before ours.
I think the worst part about it was, well, Greensburg wasn't in the area.
Originally.
Right.
It was a feeder to the TIF area.
We had to do something before we could commit to doing it.
Right.
Resolution.
But the extension of the corridor, northern corridor, that's within the same TIF area now.
So they expanded the TIF area, is that what you're
It's all
saying?
one TIF area.
But you're right, because it
To
didn't
make that
figures not
qualify.
included.
I remember that being an issue.
We redefined those. What was your? There were projects that, in that original wish list, TIF area, that like, these are things that years ago, there were things in there that we felt were not as relevant at this point as doing Lincoln Street as an example.
Right, and you had this other project.
But we did, you're right, we probably did do a motion to do that, as I recall. But we probably need to do either a new motion or amendment on that one.
I would think we would before we would commit more money to it.
What I would suggest is to permit Gary to go ahead and prepare the FA3 request for federal funds, but not do anything with it until next month.
I buy into that.
Yeah, I think so too. And Bryce, can you give us a definition on that as to whether or not you amended the motion to do that?
For to have Gary complete the application.
Yeah, well, we can have him do the application, but do we need to do an amendment to that original resolution?
I don't think I've seen it.
Is that what, okay?
We were just reviewing resolutions that have been passed previously to describe projects within the TIF district. We understood that your question was whether or not we needed to describe this particular project like we have now.
Right.
The answer to that's yes.
Okay, before we commit to anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had
No, we went through.
Remember, we had six projects that we were gonna use the funds for.
Right. And we
Lincoln
have,
Street, Freeland Road Water Main Extension, Lincoln Street from State Road 46 to State Road 3, Freeland Road Extension, Montgomery Road Sewer Replacement, and Sunset Acres Sewer Replacement.
right. And I don't think all things have been done.
You're right.
No, I think the water main just went with the Honda TIF and all the boards
I just want to do it
agreed
right.
to in that joint meeting.
But why don't you do it the right way?
Right. I just want to do it right. Because I know what we went through 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Well, with your direction, I'll work toward having the application ready next month and
Does everybody agree with that? I think it's a good idea. To just ask
I
Gary
would
to
support
forward
that.
on
Yes.
that.
Yeah, links.
I don't know if we need a motion to do that.
I don't know if I've been in there yet.
Oh.
Well, whereas Gary is just to do the application for the extension of Lincoln Street.
Corridor extension.
And I won't submit it, we'll just hold on to it, but again, at least we'll have it ready.
And then, Bryce, can you guys draw up a resolution for us to pass, or to support, I should say, at the next meeting? And then we'll talk about it then, and if we're in agreement on it, we'll go ahead and pull the trigger and ask you to go ahead and submit that.
Would you like me to have some of y'all do assessment similar to what they've done right here, so those principles, or just want to look through?
I think we'll probably look at the old ones, but if this is me, I'm saying somebody else is different about it. It gives us a good picture of where we were anyhow.
I don't think there's been any development out there that's increased what revenues you would have expected since last year.
Can't imagine it'd be a lot to it, so. So instead of spending money on that, we'll find out to do that, it's just, Is everybody in agreement on that?
To let them all do that, or?
No, to just, we'll use our old.
Yeah.
So we spend that money, and no sense spending money on that. Can't imagine it's gonna change a whole lot. And it will give us a picture of what we can expect out of it. Do we have a consensus on that, so that's what we'll use on Boston think we do. Do we? We haven't done anything as such. We're just asking him to permission to proceed. He's not submitting anything yet.
You need a motion, he was gonna submit it, but all he's doing is preparing.
And then we make the motion next month. And is everybody comfortable with that? Gary, appreciate the update. And now we're down to financials, invoices to be paid. Per June's sheet, she's submitting to us our TIF fund number 802. We have about $610,209, $209.38 in it. That's after we pay 3 invoices out of there. There's one to Vieta for $50, one to Tops for $9.99, and New Point Stone for $41.14. Top was for some landscape material.
That was our weed barrier. Some of the landscaping at Alaparo was supposed to have sod, but they had the decorative stone, and so
The New Point Stone was also for that.
that's what the New Point Stone was for. That the rock at Alaparo, we put the black weed barrier underneath.
Okay. So could I
So the landscaping stations.
well, they didn't say it was much. So could I hear a motion to approve those 3 invoices then?
So moved.
Second? Do I have a roll call, please?
Ken Nordick.
Yes.
Doug Fry.
Yes.
John Schmallenberg.
Yes.
Darrell Poling.
Yes.
Bull Rattler.
Yes.
And then in our redevelopment commission fund number 803, we have $801,364.36 after a payment to R.W. Armstrong of $22,007. That balance includes 2 NDOT reimbursements. One for invoice number 14 in the amount of $15,610, and one on invoice number 15 for $13,114. So, is there a motion to approve that R.W. Armstrong invoice?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ken Nordick.
Yes.
Doug Fry.
Yes.
John Schmallenberg.
Yes.
Darrell Poling.
Yes.
Bull Rattler.
Yes.
Getting down to, and I probably shouldn't say this, but we'll kick this off forward, but we're getting down to hopefully the end of Lincoln Street, and the end of that project, and we have a very nice balance left between the 2 funds. That holds true through the balance of it. Okay, under, anybody have any discussions on invoices or finances? Under new business, street lights. From Street Fund. Said we would be back this month, talk about the internet page.
With the internet pages. Good evening. I did go back and look. Usually our rate is 200 a page, but since we're doing a whole renovation of the website, I'm going to stick with the 500 that we said for 3 pages. And that's going to include a page about the redevelopment commission. It's going to be a page for all your meeting minutes, which right now is being, we talked about last month, which is being lumped with the Board of Works right now. And then the third will be an informational page as far as projects that, you know, that you're doing, road closures and everything else, so people know exactly where what's going on, when roads are gonna be closed. And updates, I guess.
Steve, I know that a number of people on the commission came to me afterwards last week or last month, that it started out in a $200 to $300 range, and we ended up in $400 to $500 range.
Well, it was 200 page. That's why, so we added 3 pages. That was gonna be, so that's why we came to 5.
And is that a one-time?
Yes, it's a one-time question. And as Gary had even mentioned, as he ran out, he knows he does that money work. The city maintains the site after that, so you never pay anything again on it. That's just the initial development cost and the maintaining cost, and then the city maintains it after that. So the board never gets billed again for it.
You say the city maintains it,
That's correct.
updates the information?
No, as far as maintains the website itself every year, maintenance on the site that allows the site to be maintained. Now, the only thing that I would ask is having someone on the board or someone that you appoint to be able to give me the information that you want to put up there. In other words, a go-between, so I know who I'm getting the information from. I mean, I do get the minutes. That comes to me through June, I believe, sends me the minutes. But, as far as updates to news and stuff, I mean, that stuff is done the same day that it's sent to us.
I have a curiosity question. I was looking at the city pages a couple of weeks ago, and went to cut and paste something from there. It said property of streets.
What it is it's not actually property, the design is property. And the reason for that is that people can take what's actually on the website itself. If you don't have that, I guess anyone that does the law knows that if you don't have some kind of protection, it doesn't stop it. There are ways that you can just hit Control-C and copies whatever you highlight it and paste it somewhere else. What it is, it's just a control that people can't take the entire city of Greensburg. Let's say, what can I use as an example, without using a specific example that Gary would tell you, if someone had something against the city of Greensburg, let's say for instance, okay, let's say dump the cityofgreensburg.com. There's nothing then that stops them from taking the website design and taking that and popping that onto their own website without some kind of flags in between telling them the information is copyrighted. And that's all it does. Now, if there's information that you want people to be able to download or copy, I mean, like the meeting minutes, it's PDF. I laugh because I think you said you couldn't open a PDF. Okay, it's just a straight PDF. You can download and save it to your computer. And there's no problems with that.
So this protection is almost like a watermark.
Yeah, basically that's all it really is. Because you can't watermark it actually. You can watermark a picture, you can't watermark a page. So it's one of those things we've gone through legal stuff with other clients and stuff on it. It's called the right-click script protection that just saves people from actually just copying and using your information. And it's really letting them know, hey, wait a minute, if you do that, that's not really legal without permission.
Steve, would somebody from the city of Greensburg be authorized, a sole individual, God forbid you get hit by a Kroger truck?
I have a company. If I get hit by a truck, there's about 50 other people that do it. It's not me, please. I have gray hair, but I still have some. No, we actually have a company that does that. So there's employees, when it's sent to us, it can be any one of those employees that's updating.
The company owns that data.
No, you own the data. It's owned by the city of Greensburg. Yeah. We just own the intellectual rights of the design. Is really what it is. And really, when you think about that, the logo is part of the city's. So it's just a straight protection. And trust me, there are people out there that do some nasty stuff. So.
Well, you heard about Lincoln Street project coming to a close. Is there any value added in it for us to do this now?
Well, you're going to have other projects that you're going to have done. People want to know what the board is doing at this point. I'm sure over the next, well, maybe I should rephrase that because I've only been here twice. And I really don't read the meeting minutes that come. What are you planning on doing when Lincoln Street's over?
Guitar.
Have a party.
The long road.
In front of the big city sign, right?
I mean, as long as the city's expanding, there's probably going to be a TIF, is that correct?
The TIF is good for 50 years.
We're in the 21st century. That's where people are getting their information.
And the thing is, everyone's going to the website for information. I mean, that's really, I was talking with a couple of the directors of some of the departments here, and the inquiries that come to them for information, because they come to the website, and people don't even think about some of the stuff that really should be on there, because you think, well, I have this, and that, that's enough. No, people are coming to look for it. They don't want to hear, I'll mail you an application. They want that application on the website. They want to be able to instantaneously go and download it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's every city across the country is doing something really good, and we're going to bring this up a level from what it is right now. Because it's, like TIF board 10 years ago, the website was back with Frank Manis. So that tells you how far back that was. So,
Would this be in the form of an agreement or a contract?
that's more going to be between you and the city. Because I guess when the city gets the regular invoice, because my contract is with the city of Greensburg, and then they just allocate the invoice, I guess, to each department that's part of that.
So duration isn't a
No.
concern.
Once it's up, you have that, those pages are there forever.
Has the city agreed to keep this website up?
Yes. Every single year. There's no question. The amount of information, we get stuff at least, what I see come through about 4 to 5 times a day from one of the departments here in Greensburg. So it's a regular site. I mean, it's utilized to the max. And that's part of the problem too, that we're a little behind on it as far as design and stuff and what's on there. And that's why we've taken the next step further to give it something new and something fresh that entails everything. And that's one of the reasons why we came to the TIF Commission, is because they don't have a presence on the city site, and we don't think that was correct.
We have links to the comprehensive plan, the zoning ordinance, sign ordinance, all that on planning and zoning pages, so quite a bit.
How does everybody feel about the $500?
I would support it. I think it's a wise move.
Just so I understand, I know you said there wasn't any kind of a contract, there wouldn't be any kind of contract between you and TIF. It's the agreement between you and the city.
Right.
So what exactly are you asking?
What the city asked me, okay, because maybe you didn't hear me the first time.
I stepped out.
Okay, that's all right. The city, when we went to the city about to redesign the site and actually update using Windows Media Player, taking that out to Flash, Gary actually approached me and said, well, we need to make sure we comprehensively include everything that's in the city. All the city agencies and stuff. And one of the things is on the Board of Works page is where the redevelopment commission's meeting minutes are going. So if someone actually even came to the website right now, wanted to know information about the TIF commission, there's absolutely no information about it. Number 2, you have to search to find the minutes, because you have to start hitting a couple of the department meeting minutes to find it. And there's really no way to update any information of what's taking place in the commission.
Okay, so you need information from the TIF board, is that right?
Right. We'll need who the TIF board is, we'll probably do pictures before one of the meetings, right, so we'll have all of that. And then there'll be meeting minutes will be taken off of the Board of Works page and put on to the meeting minutes page. And then the third one is just gonna be for news and stuff. Now, to answer the question I think that you had was, the city, when it takes that bill of adding pages, so the redesign is one thing, when they're now going to add some more stuff to it. Their thing is to allocate that invoice to different departments of the city. So obviously, if we added 3 pages for TIF, TIF is going to be given those 3 pages addition, which was done in the very beginning. They allocated it to water department and municipal water and everything down the line, street department. So that's why we are actually here in front of you to see and make sure that is what you want, and that when that gets allocated from the city, you understand why you give it that invoice.
Our invoice is gonna come from the city.
The city's going to, right, yeah. Not even going to come from us, it's going to come from the city one time. And then after that, every year after that, the city is handling just the general maintenance of the entire website, which would include TIF, that doesn't get rebuilt.
Did the Board of Works incur a cost to
Yes.
do that?
City council did, street department, they all did on the first one, building. I mean, it was all done.
Were they all at $500?
They, when we first did it, they all only had 1 page. As each page has been added, like I can tell you, the water bill, they call it municipal water? Yeah, municipal water. Okay, as an example, as they've added like online payment and stuff, they've paid the additional costs out of their budgets for the additional pages they've added to the website.
So much per page. That's
Right,
what
yeah,
it is.
basically. It's a one-time cost, so much per page.
Go ahead.
I just had a question, and it's a hypothetical question.
Okay.
Let's say the city turns gears and somewhere down the line, 10, 12 years from now, or 5 years from now, and they decide they want to go with a different developer. What happens to the information that we have out there now?
The city owns everything that's on there.
I understand that, but how does that
It would all
redistribute
be
back?
put on, well, if it went with another contract designer, they would have access to the files that are there so that they could copy everything back. I mean, really, what would happen if we've had this on one occasion before, where if they wanted to keep our design, in other words, our layout design, you just asked that our name be kept on the file because it was created by us. But if they wanted to just take the information, like everything that's written up and everything else, and put it into their design, that's theirs. I mean, that's yours, I should say. That's not ours. What we own is actually just the design that we put in there. The rest of it is owned by the city. Good question.
Opinions? Consensus? I think, for my consensus, what I think we should do with it.
One last thing, just real quick. Could you incorporate the meeting minutes with the, what were the 3 pages you said?
You have meeting minutes, you have about the organization, about what TIF is, and then you're going to have a news page. In other words, updates as to what's going on actually in TIF.
Being the way that our meeting minutes are laid out now, they're just a date where people can click onto it and it opens up a PDF. So could you incorporate the meeting minutes at the bottom of the about or whatever, or one of those pages?
You can, okay, and so this isn't to me about money. This is to me about user friendliness. If I'm coming to the website and I want to find that it's also for posting in Google, indexing in Google, if you have it separated, it's found. If you lump, they lump. That's the only difference. And you don't want to have a page that if you come to, that you got to scroll all the way down to find the information. That's my only concern.
Do the other commissions have 3 pages also?
Yes. Well, most of them don't have a news page, but most of them have at least 2.
So we would be consistent.
Right, yes, exactly. And most of them are even adding a page now in the redesign as well.
So I think it's important that that the city is consistent.
Right.
In the images.
See, really what it's coming down to is you're going to have, in the city's website, you're going to have your own section. And that's really what we're doing with all the groups, municipal, water, street department. They're all going to have their own section of the city's website.
How much space are they going to be allocated on their site, Steve? Or how much space do you allocate for putting the files and all that? How much space do you give them? Much as you want?
We never limit that. And you think about it right now, the audio is even going up. What we're sitting right here actually gets posted up there as well. So we've never set a limit on how much stuff can be on there. I mean, right now, gosh knows, since we've been in audio a couple of years ago, I mean, we've quadrupled what's on there. So
Is that true in video too?
we can put video up there as well.
They're huge files.
Yeah. You see, when almost going to video is almost like 3 times